So what does favor do? And again, not an exhaustive list, but an interesting thing for us, and I please ask you to go study through this and get this in our hearts, rather than offload it and teach it. Let's be a people who are trusting for the favor of God. What does favor do? Well, here's some things. Number one, favor promotes. Now, we're not looking for man's approval, we're not looking for promotion, but favor somehow does promote, and that's what we see. It takes us to higher levels of kingdom success and service. Not success and service, kingdom success and service. So it promotes. One day of God, somebody said, one day of God's favor is worth 1,000 days of our labor. And I'm telling you, friends, we've got to work hard, and this is a season to keep working. We'll come out of this working hard. But I don't want 1,000 days of our labor to take the place. Let it be one day of God's favor. Better is one day in your cause. The favor of God, the year of the Lord's favor, Isaiah 61, to preach the year of the Lord's favor. It's the it speeds things up with the favor of God. And there is something about favor that promotes. And I do believe, even in this season, God's promoting with His favor us and people, again guys, hearing the heart, not so we can have, so the nations can hear the salvation, know the salvation of God, and know the ways of God. Another thing that favor does is favor places open doors before us. It's the favor of God that opens doors. I mean, we think about the doors that have opened to us and that are open even right now. More doors. Even in a season like this, we've got more doors than we can cope with, and they continue to open. Now, that's not because of good strategy or good preaching or good sermons. Those things can help. It's the favor of God. But we know that favor opens doors, places doors before us. And I do believe they open doors for us. And I love some of the prophetic words that have come even before this season or before this lockdown, where guys had come and said, God's opening doors. And I love what Dave Hagar preached a few times, and I've heard him speak out of the book of Revelation, the 4 doors in Revelation. And God says, I'll open doors that no man can shut. That's favor. But He also says, I'll close doors that no man can open. That's also favor, because He'll shut the doors that are not necessary. And we need that. Not just open doors, close doors that no man can open. So He says, I'll open doors. God says, I'll open doors that no man can shut. I'll close doors that no man can open. And then He talks about behold, I stand at the door and knock. The door of our hearts. He knocks. And I think this is a season where God is knocking at our hearts. It's not for sinners. It's not about salvation, although it includes that. But that text is Jesus, that is speaking to the church. And basically, He's saying, I'm knocking at your heart. I want to connect with you. I want to have intimacy with you as my church. And if you open your heart, You'll come on in. And so for me, I do believe that's something of our season. And even this downtime, we're forced to go back and open our hearts and let God come on in and connect with Him and relationship and that. But then Dave showed us from book of Revelation that there's open heaven above all of us. And I think we've got to understand that. But it's the favor of God that sets doors before us, open doors, places open doors before us. And let's look wisely. Let's be wise in this season. Let's pray and ask God for the doors that we should be walking through and the others that we're not. Because when we come out of this, friends, there are going to be many doors waiting, and we've got to choose the right doors. And I believe favor opens doors, and God continues to open doors. Even when doors are closed, even when we shut down, God's doors open. And so that's the favor of God. That's why we need more of His favor for the doors that He's opening before us. Favor also precedes us, and I like that because it goes before us. It's not something that follows us, it's something that goes before us. And that's interesting for us, even in a season like this, that God's gone before us, but also His favor's before us. And even before we come out of this, His favor's already there. And again, I'm not trying to be hyper-faith. You guys know me. But I do want to say we must trust and expect in the favor of God that it precedes us. It's gone before us. It goes before us. And when we get to these regions and places and the doors, God's favor's there. People are waiting. People are ready. And people are wanting to receive what it is God wants to bring. So it precedes us. Favor protects. It does protect us, I believe. It keeps us safe and shields us from the effects of the evil one. And again, how much we've talked about protection in this time. But we've been protected. You think about all the guys traveling all the time. I mean, obviously right now it's not the case. But in the 40 years, people are on the road all the time in our ranks because of the time changes, and we always going somewhere. How very few have actually been injured or died or got sick. It's phenomenal. And again, guys, it's not, well, look at us. I'm convinced it's the favor of God and continued favor. And I believe even in this, God wants to favor us with more protection as not we do our thing, as we continue to do what He's called us to, He will protect us, and it's the favor of God that brings this shield and protection and keeps us safe from the devil. So just trust for that and check that out and study that if you want to.